All right, guys, welcome back to the Rick Shiels Golf Show podcast, episode 254. I'm your host, Rick Shiels. I'm here with co-host Guy. I feel like we've been a very proactive Monday. I know you guys, everyone listening and watching, you think we film this on a Tuesday. We don't. We film it on a Monday. It's been proactive, though, so far. We've got a busy day. How are you, Guy? Are you well?
I'm good. I had a mini heart attack last night watching England.
I didn't have a heart attack. I was ready to leave the country and go support a different team.
Yeah, this is obviously a golf podcast, not a football podcast. A lot of people now going, I thought it was. I thought we were. Your soccer knowledge, Rick and Guy, is up there with the best. I often said that should be a football podcast because the way that you talk about a flat back three, is that even a thing?
Exactly. And forward press.
Yeah. I mean, if it's up to you, Rooney would still be starting.
Rooney would be.
Yeah.
Rooney. And I don't know why we're not playing Ronaldo.
No, I don't know.
I'm gobsmacked.
When he played for Manchester City, he was really good, wasn't he? But no, we watched the football. Obviously, England won in the end. It was a horrendous performance, though, but they got the W. And it got me thinking about this morning, how can we relate that to golf? And it was quite interesting that with football, really, you could have, as they did, 90 minutes of bad play, but that one moment at the end wins it, well, gets them into the extra time, and then they win it. In golf, you cannot do that.
I don't think you can.
It's the opposite. You could play good golf
Correct.
for 17 holes. You level par, you level to your handicap, whatever that might be. You get to the 18th hole, aka the 90th minute. The shank comes, as you know too well at Caldy. Something happened. It went right into the trees. You forget about that now. It's a lot. But
then, would you not summarise that as Slovakia?
Yeah, correct. But absolutely. But what
Slovakia played, for them, solid football for 94 and a half minutes.
They shanked it on 18 out of bounds. But the reverse, though, where England played badly, you can't. If you played bad golf for 17 holes, there's no way you can on the 18th suddenly do something to make it really good, unless you had a hole in one on the 18th, which was like a sacrifice. The fact that that meant you had a good feeling leaving the golf course, but you wouldn't have had a good round, would you?
The way I can relate it to golf was a little bit like the golf last night on the PGA Tour,
which I only watched loosely.
There was two golfers that did a little. It's hard because it's hard to summarize this, but Akshay, who was pretty much leading the whole tournament. He's a really cool golfer. Does loads of stuff on YouTube. Collaborated with loads of different golfers. We'd love to get him on the channel. So actually, quite a few golf YouTubers up there last night. To be honest, he played incredible golf for 71 holes. Okay. In the whole tournament, he'd only made one bogey, and that was earlier on in the day. In the whole tournament, get this guy, he did not three-putt once.
Wow.
When does he three-putt?
On 18.
On the very last hole to force the playoff. I mean, it's just a cruel game. Also, Minwoo Lee, who played incredible golf, certainly on the back nine, the 4 under through 8 holes of the back nine after making a double bogey on the front nine. He just really needs to make par to force the clubhouse lead at 18 under par. And again, inevitably getting the clubhouse lead and being the playoff, ends up bogeying the last hole by flying it long and didn't go up and down, which was a real shame. And also, another part of the YouTube family, Aaron Rye, who's sponsored by, or not sponsored by, he's coached by Me and My Golf for many, many, many years. It's his 85th PGA Tour event, which is wild to think. He's not won yet out on PGA Tour, but he was leading again, going into the final round, and he ended up shooting in very mediocre 72. And on the last 4 or 5 holes, just completely lost his driver. Everything was squirting out right. And in the end, Cam Davis, who won in 2021, ended up taking the win. And just kind of like, obviously he shot the lowest score, but everyone else kind of almost to some degree fell away a little bit. So to summarise it with football, there's a bit of back and forth there. You've got late minute winners. You've got last minute missed penalties or opportunities. Sport's just wild in that regard.
And I think golf is one of the most cruel games. And speaking of cruel games and golf and the next major event, that's a rubbish segue. I'm trying to get into Royal Troon in a way. How can I work that from football? So England played badly but then won.
Yeah. Scotland played badly and were out.
Scotland is the home of this year's Open, as it's the home of the Open altogether, really, let's be honest.
And this year's Open is at Royal Troon.
Yeah, there you go. And we last week, and so there'll be no spoilers about score coming up right here, but there will be some insight into an upcoming video. So we were very, very lucky last week, or I was certainly lucky, because it's still for me. It's surreal that I get to do these things. But me, you, and James Robinson played at Royal Troon with the grandstands up in absolute open conditions for a break 75, break 70, and break 80.
We did mention this briefly on the Clubhouse episode on Friday.
That was so long ago.
And we actually released that Clubhouse episode as a full video, which I think was done really well. So thanks very much for everyone listening and watching. But yeah, the Open this year at Royal Troon, it feels like now it's only, is it 3 weeks away, the Open?
I think so, yeah.
And again, we got very lucky to play it with the grandstands up.
2 weeks.
It's only 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
What's fascinating, after playing it last week and a bit of time to reflect, the course has really grown on me. Like the more I started playing like the round in my head, I was like, I really like the first, second's a good hole, third's a cracker. Like I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm actually really enjoying the golf course, and I think it's going to be a really good test for the golf.
We should enjoying the golf course. Was that how you were playing it in your head? You're lying in bed thinking, I'm enjoying this round.
Yeah, I'm playing really well.
Did you shoot 65 again in your head?
Oh, I wish. To be fair, the front nine was almost front nine of dreams for me. So again, we don't want to give any results away, but it was going incredibly well for a very long time.
You know what though? We often say we would love to see what normal real golfers would shoot in major championships, and I still stand by that. However, I've also learned from being the fortunate position like this where we get to play these open venues before the Open. Yes, those guys play in front of lots and lots of people, but they do have it easier by the rough being trampled down, because so many areas where we were playing, and without giving too many spoilers, I was in the rough a lot. Not that is a spoiler, because that's obvious. But the areas where the ball was going is literally the areas where fans, spectators would be walking around, and that rough just gets trampled down.
We couldn't have played it much harder in the fact that we literally played it off the back of the back of the back plates, because they wanted us to be almost a club behind the back plate, because we were hanging off the back of the tee box, because that's where they're not going to use that part of the tee box. It would be illegal to use, and we couldn't have played it any further back. I would say the only difference was, I wouldn't say the pins were ridiculously tucked away.
No,
a couple of naughty ones, but not too bad. And obviously, I think the green speeds will get a little bit quicker, but not ridiculous. Yep. It's links golf, and they've got to be careful with links golf. As soon as they get the greens too fast, like if the speed of this tabletop and it was windy, the ball would just blow everywhere. So they have to be careful with the speed. You know what
I learned though from last week at Troon? Again, I was so lucky to be there. I really had a great day with yourself and James and the whole team that were there filming and making the video come together. It was a great couple of days. And it was probably the first time I've noticed what I'm about to say. And it kind of was quite a humbling experience and a bit of a reality check. So I grew up, similar to you, playing junior golf at a decent-ish level. But from being very, very young, I played competitions straight away. Again, they weren't super, super competitive, but they were comps at the junior, comps at the club, etc., etc. I played a few junior opens and stuff. So I've always known proper golf to be keeping a scorecard and playing off the white tees. And often if I play a golf course and don't play it off the furthest back tees, it doesn't feel it doesn't make a real score. We obviously went to the extreme, and like you just said then, played Troon off the back of the back of the back tees. And as much as I enjoyed it, clearly I did, there was part of me that thought, it's a bit too much this. I'd rather be playing off yellows. And I think I've now become the guy, hands up, if I went to go and play a golf course off my own free will, and I could choose tees, I don't think I'd go off the backs. No.
I do really enjoy playing off the backs, and I don't know why. I don't know why, because it's not. I think I need another 20 yards on my drive to really enjoy the back tees. But there's something about the back tees. It's just like
it feels real.
And the other thing is, I don't like playing them all the time, like these 200-yard par threes. But I actually feel like I'm pretty good at them. So for me, really, playing these 200-yard par threes, I actually don't worry too much, because it's like a 4 or 5 iron, which I'm normally pretty good with. Sometimes if I play it a bit shorter, which I do prefer shorter par threes as well, because it feels like you've got an opportunity to make birdie. But yeah, I don't know. Your tip was great, and I'm trying to incorporate this a bit more. Often when you play around a golf at a championship golf course and they've built extra tees that have been moved further back to lengthen the golf course, you'll finish the green and you'll start walking towards the next tee boxes, and inevitably the next tee box you walk to would be the members' tees, the normal tees, and then you've got to turn right or turn left, whichever way it is, and walk another 30, 40, 50 yards back.
Yeah.
And you did a great... I'll often get to that tee junction and look down the hole and go, this looks like a nice hole. Well, you don't.
No.
Because if you then look at it at that point, when you walk back 40, 50 yards back, and then you stand on that tee, you go, oh my God, it's a totally different hole back from back here. And it almost changes your mindset a little bit.
Yeah, I've always done that, and it might be because I remember telling James that he said, "Oh no, you should look now because you get more insight into the hole." I get that, but for me, and maybe it's a negative outlook. I feel like if I look at the hole that you've said, and you're like, "Oh, that fairway's quite wide, or that's reachable, or whatever," and the next thing you said you're walking 30, 40, 50, 60, maybe even 100 yards at some golf courses back, and then you look, it's like, "Oh my days, don't like it." And I also, another weird one. This is very negative. You might not notice this. I'm not a huge fan of leaving my bag and then walking back. Because I feel like if I do that, there's a good chance I'm going to lose my ball and have to run back for provisional. I know that's not ideal, but I just a weird superstition.
A quick secret: on Monday when I did open qualifying last week, when I stood on that tee, there's two things that I did. I don't think anyone noticed.
If you say the ball in your pocket,
no.
Oh God, I was going to say.
But so I'd put my bag right on the corner of where everyone was waiting. Okay, and I walked back to my bag and grabbed my towel because my hands were a bit sweaty. It was a hot day. I thought I could do my towel on the tee. Okay. And I walked back to the tee and I looked back and we had a bit of time. I was like, if I do need to go for a provisional ball here, my bag is a long way away. So again, I wasn't trying to think negatively, but I went back because I thought if I knock this somewhere where I have to hit a provisional,
walk of shame,
a proper walk of shame, and I've got to go. Honestly, it was way too far away. So I went and got my bag and moved it closer to the tee.
And then you hit a good shot?
I hit a good shot, but it was funny. I actually forgot that story until you just said it then. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember doing that.
I think one thing, I don't know if I said this in the last podcast, it's hard to remember what I've said on podcast and what I've said to you kind of off podcast, but open qualifying, it wasn't about me at all, it was about what you did and obviously everybody there. It really opened my eyes more than ever about how I see golf. It really, really did. And maybe that's kind of why I'm now saying about the back tees and stuff, because I was looking that day and I enjoyed being there to watch you and I enjoyed thinking about the video we were making. But there was an atmosphere that I'd never really felt before. There wasn't a nice atmosphere.
How many people, hand on heart, out of that 130 or whatever that played, actually enjoyed it?
I bet hardly any. Hardly any. Because the guys who were serious about qualifying, then the handful that qualified, great. The guys who were good enough to qualify and didn't, well, they're going to be disappointed. The guys that went for the experience, who were like a scratch handicapper, a lot of them got humbled by the golf course, as would I must add, because it was so hard and so much pressure and shot in the mid-high 80s. I can't really work out what level of... Maybe if you're a scratch golfer, it was your first time and you shot 75, you'd be like, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, which you should be, by the way. But I don't know, just watching the people playing, it made me realise that for some people, and I often think these people are fortunate, but golf is their job. And obviously the handful of the elite, your Rorys, your Tommy Fleetwoods, etc., who play for a living, and even the step down from that, the guys who've got good, solid DP World Tour careers, who have got the mortgage paid off and are playing for just the love of the game now almost, and victories, I get it. But for the guys and the girls who are out there playing golf for a living to pay the bills, where, you know, they don't know if next week they're going to be able to afford the accommodation for the next tournament, etc., I actually don't envy them. I really don't. And just seeing the atmosphere at Open Qualifying made me think that when I play golf, I should be playing to enjoy it. It doesn't matter what I shoot. And I don't know if a little bit of me at Troon almost took that too far. And I won't get without giving away what I shot. There was a bit of me that was like, I made it just for a laugh. I don't know. I just feel like I'm so much more in that camp now. Like, what does it matter what I shoot? If I shoot 80 or 77 or 84, it literally doesn't matter.
It's a nice position to be.
But I know, but it doesn't, does it? It just doesn't matter. But I suppose then I was thinking, well, actually, like, anyone can say that about anything. Like, if you're into going for a run, park runs, you're not going to be winning the Olympics. So why does it matter if you break 20 minutes or you do 24 minutes? It doesn't really, but you still have personal goals. But those personal goals should be things that encourage you to keep going to that run and training and working hard. I think with golf, having these goals of handicap or score actually stop people enjoying it. And they're what stop people playing and make people quit because they can't break 80 or they keep the handicap keep going up. And it's like, if you're working all week in a normal job, I say normal because I feel privileged to do what I do and call that work, but if you're working a normal job 9 to 5, and then Saturdays when you play golf, and you leave the course in a mood because you shot over your handicap in the Saturday comp, why are you playing it as a hobby? And that's what I do. It's stupid.
I always remember this argument or conversation you got in with Brodie Smith at Royal Rush.
Yeah.
Because he was adamant that everybody that ever plays golf wants to improve and get better.
Yeah.
And the more I've kind of realised that as well, they don't.
There's so many people, and this sounds so stereotypical, and it's not supposed to be, but it's the best example I've got. There was a group of ladies at my golf club, and I used to work there, I was a member there, and they loved playing golf. And they loved playing golf because it was a very hilly golf course. It was exercise for them. It was a great chance to catch up with the friends. And actually, more importantly, if we're honest, was the catch up afterwards, having a cup of coffee, a scone, etc., scone, whatever you want to call it. And yes, if they shot to the handicap, that was a night. Oh yeah, I got 36 points today or whatever. If they shot 24 points, they couldn't give a toss. And, you know, I just don't think that many people care. A lot of people do, and certainly people listening to this podcast who are probably more hardcore golfers probably care about how they play, obviously, and want to play better. But if you think about it, it is a bit stupid how much people care, including me.
But I bet some people go to the gym without trying to set a PB every time, don't they? They'll just go to the gym because it's part of exercise and makes them feel better. But
then at the same, and you're right, but how often do people leave the gym feeling bad? Probably very, very rarely.
Yeah. Unless you feel better.
Exactly. Whereas golf, how many people go and play golf and come off feeling bad? Yeah. It shouldn't be. It's a hobby.
There's not that many people when you walk around the end of a golf course. How'd you play? Oh, brilliant. Most of the time, like I played on Friday in a charity golf day at St Anne's Old Links, and we came third. Thanks for asking. And
well done.
We after the round, you chat to guys, and you're like, "Have you played today?" Oh, rubbish. No, it wasn't for me. Rough. And like most people you speak to, rubbish.
But and then also though,
I don't know how much they enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it.
That's the thing though, isn't it? I would suggest those people might play rubbish, but have a laugh still because it's a charity day, might be a few beers. But then if you look at this more serious level, i.e. in open qualifying, I very much doubt there's anybody who played rubbish but enjoyed it, because almost you can't correlate the two things together. So I almost think unless you are playing for a living, then as much as you should, or as much as you can is possible, you should just try and enjoy it no matter what. And that's why actually there's a shot I hit that you won't see on camera at Troon where I had a bit of a bad hole, and I was about 150 yards away, and I like chip/putted a 3-wood.
Oh, yeah.
And it was because I was stood there, and I thought, I'd love to see what I could do with a 3-wood from here now, like do a long putt and see if it can roll all the way there. And I did one, it was rubbish, and I did another one that worked out quite well. And it was like, you would never really on a golf course do shots like that, because you think about playing score. But I thought, well, actually, going forward, I'm going to try and just play more fun shots on a golf course I'm excited to play, because that is also what golf is about. Nothing was more fun than being a junior and hitting lob shots or doing all these other things just for a laugh. Like, it's not all about score.
I want to ask you a question, okay? Name me some real title sponsorships for golf events. Can you think of any off the top of your head? For example, like it was the Rocket Mortgage tournament this week on the PGA Tour.
Okay. Alfred Dunhill,
good
on
one.
the DP World Tour, who are actually a clothing brand, very expensive. I feel like I'm on the spot here. Let me think. Don't tell me anymore.
Almost every single PGA Tour event.
Which one was this weekend?
Rocket Mortgage.
Travellers, the week before.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Travellers are.
No.
HSBC Open.
It's a big one. Either way.
My mind's gone.
Don't worry. None of them, however, are the biggest. Okay? This weekend, the first ever Longley Park Golf Club Junior Open was titled sponsored by Rick Shiels.
Oh my gosh.
I know. It's a big
one. Your hand went deep into that
pocket. It's a big one. So, yeah, listen, I'm sure Rocket Mortgage and all these others, Travellers, spend millions and millions and millions. I get that. But I went one more. Not quite millions. So I actually went on Sunday. I wasn't going to. Yeah, I wasn't going to go. So
where is Langley Park?
It's in Huddersfield. Langley Park. Yeah. So it was for me. It took forever. So basically on Sunday.
So did you claim expenses back to the golf club?
No. So about 6 months ago, a friend of mine who I went to college with, Chris Hansen, who I think I've spoken to him on the podcast before. We've got to get him on the podcast.
Great player.
So Chris Hansen, when I was at college, was the best of the best of the best. He was the poster boy. Everyone looked up to him. I bought his Mizuno TP9 irons off him, and in the middle of the 7 iron was this black spot, because that's how much he practiced. And instead of going out and getting drunk like maybe I did, he would be practicing, and he ended up becoming a European Tour player. He played in the Open, etc., etc. Unfortunately, over the years, his game has kind of fallen off a little bit. He's not playing touring golf anymore, but still playing professional locally. So he's now moved to this new place, Longley Park, and he wanted to set up a junior Open, and he asked me, would I be interested in sponsorship? And I said, I'd love to. I said, is there opportunity to sponsor the whole thing? He said, yes. So I wasn't going to go because I had other commitments, but those commitments got cancelled. I took me and my 3 kids. down to Longley Park Golf Club. What a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Really?
Really, really enjoyed it. Proper little hidden gem of a golf course. It's only 9 holes. The first hole, you'd actually hate the first hole. It's like a 245-yard par 4 first hole, all out of bounds down the right.
Yeah.
Okay? All out of bounds. Like, you could hit 3 wood miles left and you got as much room on the planet. But the second time you come round, you play it becomes a 210-yard par 3.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
a hard bloody hole. So I went down, 75 juniors playing the event from really young ones, from probably 5 or 6 years old. They played 9 holes off the blue tees, which was like a junior course. And in the afternoon, they had the bigger kids going out. Recognised a lot of faces who I've seen either before at driving ranges. They'd travelled a long way to go and play in this event. So I was really happy I could go and meet everybody. My kids were absolutely loving it. It was quite embarrassing. It's the first time my kids have been on a golf course.
Really?
Actually on a golf course. And I was a bit embarrassed about it, really.
Yeah.
Because they really didn't know how to behave. They thought it was this bloody playground. Because we walked around and watched them for a bit. They were just, like, really giddy. And it's nice to see. And they are desperate. They were dragging me to the driving range yesterday, which I took them in the end. They really wanted to go. And they were asking so many questions, which I was really proud of them with. But it also made me realise it's really bad that I've not give my kids these opportunities yet to get on the golf course.
Well, how old are your kids now?
9, 7 and 5.
Yeah, that is quite old that they've not really got into. I know you've been to the range with you, but I
We've been
suppose,
to the range
I suppose you
loads of
think that
times.
when you have kids, I'm going to get them into golf, and it's just
We've been
reality.
to the range loads of times, but honestly, going out on the golf course, they're asking, what are these blocks for? They kept picking up the tee markers. I'm like, you can't move them. They wanted to run in the bunkers. I was telling them no. They found a golf ball. My eldest went to pick it up. I said, no, you can't pick it up. I felt bad because I felt like I was really kind of on the back, but I'd never really taught them. So that's something I'm definitely going to endeavour to do. Did a prize giving. Some of the guys won some Rick Shiels merch, which was fantastic as well. Really, really good event.
That sounds really good.
Hoping to sponsor it in many years to come. And it was a sold out event, and hopefully we can get even more sell out or more places for next year.
Very good. I love that. Good deed done.
It was nice.
Yeah. Right. Okay. This is going to maybe be a podcast clip here, Rick. So get prepared, get strapped in, and I want your full attention. We've had a great question on the Facebook group of Gavin Taylor, and he said there was an interesting story on Reddit, which I'm going to come on to, of a person shooting 278 over 18 holes.
I'm sorry. Listen, I didn't realise it was ever going to get out. It was a practice round. 278.
Yes. In Germany, a golfer has to shoot 108 or lower to get a golf license in order to play on most courses. So here we go. What are your thoughts on a maximum score which starts to impact other players on a golf course? Should there be a cap or a limit on skill level or achievable score before someone plays a full 18 on a regular course? So before you answer that, Rick, let me read the post off Reddit. I found it. It's from a user on Reddit, and it's titled, Played with someone today who shot 278 over 18 holes. And it says, I left work early today to play 18 holes at my local course.
3 days later, I got back.
Walked to the first tee and was greeted by a man in his early 30s and asked me if I'd play with him, as it was his first time on the golf course. He also wanted me to count his strokes and help him with rulings and so on. It was the worst round of golf I have ever seen someone play. 15 strokes on average per hole, and he scored a 21 on a long par 3. The course was empty, so we had enough time. The round lasted 6.5 hours. I know how he feels. Nicest guy I've ever met, but felt I felt kind of sorry for him as he tried so hard and nothing worked. I even gave him some advice regarding club selection and keeping his driver in the bag. I shot 94. And every decent shot I hit made his jaw drop, and it says in brackets, I'm talking like a 220-yard drive, nothing special. So then we had a quick. Then before again, you answer that. So in Germany, there is such thing as a golf license.
Yeah.
Which, as the guy alluded to in the question, and the question was from Gavin Taylor. A golf license is something that you have to have apparently legally to play golf in Germany, which is crazy. I have
heard this. Albeit I have played golf in Germany and never been asked for a license.
Well, yeah, you've got your provisional. You shot 109 ones, didn't you? But that was when your kids moved the tees forward. Doesn't really count. So you've got to shoot 108 or lower. over 18 holes. And apparently, to get a license, you have to pay at least $300 for a 5-day membership. You have to have several hours of training. You've got to do a series of tests. Now, there was actually a really good video that Eric Anders Lang did on this about the golf handicapping, golf license in Germany. Apparently, it came into play over 40 years ago. There's no other country in Europe asks for a license. Apparently, it's a 2-part test. There's a written test and there's a hands-on test. The hands-on test takes you to a golf course where you must prove your driving, putting and chipping skills, and then join a pro to play 18 holes with 108 shots or less. The written test is about the rules of golf. If you miss 6 out of the 30 questions, you failed. And obviously the test is in German as well. So if we went over there to live in Germany, it's all done in German. But yeah, so there's kind of 2 parts to that question, really, Rick. Do you agree with the golf license concept that Germany have? And do you think there should be a maximum score limit, etc., on golf courses?
It's a really, really, really tough one, because as much as I absolutely don't advocate the license at all, I think it's a ridiculous idea. I do think there should be some level of guidance before players can go out on the golf course, and that's for the enjoyment of themselves and for others, and the safety of themselves and for others. Because realistically, how do you really learn how to play golf? True. We were young when we did it, and we would have been told by older people how to play. But like, if you were in your 30s and you went to the golf course, who teaches you? How do you know where to stand? How do you know where to put your trolley? How do you know, the silly thing? How do you know how to rake a bunker or do a pitch mark or repair a divot?
Well, you don't, and that's the thing. And I think when you see a score like 278, your first thought is, oh my word.
I'm almost even just getting rid of that for the time being and thinking just about the actual, almost the etiquette.
You've got no idea. That comes after.
It's hard, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So as much I don't believe in the license, because I think in Germany that must massively restrict participation level.
You'd think so.
But I do think you need some level of guidance, because I remember the skiing story that I did. So I went to the Chill Factor, which is just around the corner from us, this big ski slope, and it very clearly said you must have had lessons before you go and ski.
I got turned away because I admit
you must do, right? Yeah. Well, I didn't admit I hadn't. So I went on YouTube and watched a quick 5-minute video on how to ski and thought I knew everything. It took me about 25 minutes to put my boots on, right? How I got through the gates, I don't know. And I got to the stair lift. I'd never used a stair lift before. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? In fact, I was snowboarding. I wasn't skiing, I was snowboarding. And I put the thing in between my legs, the seat, right? Sat with my board running perpendicular to the slope.
90 degrees.
And the board literally dragged me down. I had to let go and I fell flat on my face. And at that point, I should have been kicked out.
Yeah.
It's a health and safety. I shouldn't have been allowed on that slope. I blagged it. So I'd never done snowboarding before. Normally, if I do, I had been doing snowboarding before. But normally, if I do, I get the chairs. I don't get the thing between my legs, right? So I managed to blag it. But I was a health and safety hazard to everybody else on that ski slope, right? I blagged it and I made it work and I got through it. But to some degree, like, in golf, that's really hard to do, like, just completely blag it and go and play 18 holes of golf. And, and you do end up sacrificing other people's enjoyment.
But even then, when you said blag it, the key difference is you got asked, or there was a clear sign that you have to have lessons before you go. I have never, other than a golf course with a handicap limit, which you sometimes see, I have never been on the first tee and seen anybody say, have you played golf before? No. And if you think about it, the score of 278, think about, well, yeah. I've lost a few balls. But think about, this is what I was thinking about the score. When you see that of 278, at first it sounds ridiculous, which it kind of is. It's very, very high. But equally, if you think about it, when you go to the driving range and you often see someone who's clearly never played golf before, and they're either with friends who also have never played golf before, or they're with friends who have, it's not uncommon to see somebody go, shot, tap it a foot.
I can't imagine that's even including air shots.
Oh, no, it probably isn't doing. But what I'm saying is, if that exact golf, normally, and not always the case, normally somebody would go to the range 1, 2, 3, a dozen times and then maybe step onto a course. However, if somebody's literally gone to the range once, bought set clubs and gone, right, my local golf course is there, I'm going to go and play, that 278 could very feasibly happen, couldn't it? It's not actually as crazy as it sounds.
I think most people understand that transition of going straight on the golf course isn't something you just do straight away.
Well, is that not why the license is perfect?
But I think that people already know. Like, I remember teaching loads of people. It's like, I've got a corporate day. I've never played golf before. Can you help me? I'm playing in like 6 months. It's like, okay, well, I can guide you to that level. They didn't need a particular license, but
where's that middle ground then?
But that's what I think there should be. So I actually don't mind the written test.
Mm-hmm.
Just that, even if it was a quick questionnaire before you go and play, where should you stand after you've played the hole? You know, how do you rake a bunker? Blah blah. You know, all these. I mean, challenging on a written test, but I think those things, etiquette, rules, I just don't think from a playing standpoint you should get judged.
I don't disagree, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, but we obviously know that golf has a lot of potential barriers to entry. It's perception, it's potentially expensive, it can be seen to be expensive, the rules, the language, etc. is all very different to most sports. I might be wrong, but you don't need to go and do this for tennis or for badminton or for other sports, do you? So if golf suddenly says, right, we have to have some level of either test or I don't know what it looks like, but something, does that create a further barrier to entry?
There's already way too many barriers. 100%.
So what's the perfect scenario though in your mind? You've got the Rick Shiels golf course. It's opened up in Manchester. How do you ensure that people playing it know what to do? The health and safety is all box ticks. How do you stop a young lad or girl coming from the range for the first ever time and then shooting 300 on the course and potentially not shouting 4 or not knowing what 4 means when it gets shouted at them, etc.?
How'd you do it?
Do you have a big touch screen and when you get to the first tee it's like a quick 5-minute rules? Is anyone going to watch that?
I mean, when my kids go to a trampoline park, they've got to watch a 5-minute safety video.
That's what I'm thinking.
And they've been loads of times, and they know it off by heart, but they still got to watch it every time.
Just don't listen to it.
I mean, is that way of doing it? I don't know. It's a challenge.
That's what I mean. Because the golf, the one in Germany seems very far-fetched, but I suppose the quality of golf on the golf course and the speed of play you would imagine would be much better potentially. But then equally having nothing could cause an issue. Maybe there needs to be some, I don't know what it is. That's the question we're posing, I guess, isn't it? What is that?
I think something on the first tee, which kind of a little 3-minute, hey, just a quick one. Don't forget to shout 4.
There's a lot to take in, though, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. And where would you start? Where would you start?
Shout 4 is a health and safety one. If someone shouts 4, duck. Or if you're going to hit someone, shout 4.
You could almost do a 3-minute health and safety one and a 3-minute bloody etiquette one.
Yeah, and then tips as well. How to get out of bunkers easier. There's a lot to unpack. I'd like to hear people's opinions on this, so feel free to comment down below on the YouTube video. What do you think?
I've just been trying to find it, and whether you can find it on your laptop. I've not brought my laptop today. There was a video that was posted quite a few years ago now where 4 bad golfers, admittedly bad golfers, went and played at TPC Sawgrass.
Oh, wow.
And there was one golfer in particular who scored on the 17th hole. Guess the score that he scored just on the 17th hole.
15.
On the 17th hole.
I don't know.
The Island Green.
20.
Higher.
30.
Higher.
40.
Higher.
50.
Higher.
65.
Higher. 66.
Oh my God.
On one hole. He scored a 66. And I can't remember what his actual overall score was, but I remember the 4 of them, it being like an 8-hour round. And because TPC Sawgrass is bloody hard.
Yeah.
And the amount of water there is.
Well, another question we've had from Stu Alford, and it's very linked to this one actually. It says, what advice would you give to somebody starting up golf, i.e., would it be to pick up after scoring a 12 or 13 on a hole during stroke play? Would you cap it at a certain score, and if so, what to? Now, at first I thought that's a great idea. Make it so that every hole the worst can have to 3 over. But then they wouldn't get any holes completed realistically, would they?
No, and I always remember, again, playing with fairly new golfers. What's the best thing about golf?
Getting a par.
Just getting the ball in the hole. It is. Just getting the ball in the hole. I just remember going out with a new golfer and someone else said, oh, you can pick it up now. And they were so disheartened. They were like, oh, well, kind of.
That was Ross as well. Is that who you're thinking of?
Was it? Yeah, it was Ross.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I kind of wanted to play his hole. Do you know what I mean?
Get an actual score.
I wanted to get the ball in the hole because the objective is to get it from here to there in the hole.
And that's it. And also, you might perceive 140 as a terrible score, but if someone's previous best is 152, then getting 140s for them is a massive accomplishment, isn't it? I remember my first score ever recorded was 144.
I really think there should be more different tee markers.
But I don't disagree. But would that still solve the problem?
I
don't know if it would, because even if you had a 400-yard par 4, now became 200 yards, if you're as bad as the guy that shot 278, you're still missing it and thinning it all over the place. So is it really going to help that much?
I think you'd save six.
Would a bigger hole not help more?
5 or 6 shots a hole. No, because weirdly putting, I've played with brand new golfers who are okay at putting.
Yeah.
Like they can kind of, like they never miss a putt, do you? The thing is with putting is you hit it a bit too hard or a bit too soft and they'll have a few extra putts.
Yeah, I suppose it's
But you're not looking for balls. You're not looking, it's not going in the water or going out of bounds.
If we can solve this idea, you could become multi-millionaires potentially. Sell it to all the golf courses.
I think staggered tee points. I really do. But then
I bet a lot of people wouldn't take them up. Not very masculine, is it? Let's be honest.
That's the issue. But then again, if you went skiing, you don't go straight on the black slope, do you?
You would.
Like I would, yeah.
So, there we go. Right, another question, Rick, somewhat more serious, from Tim Morris. You might not answer this. You might not. Who knows? You might not. This might not make the edit. In which case, yeah, it will. But so Tim Morris has said, Rick, do the negative comments that some people believe have an actual effect on your mental health, or are you able to brush them off?
I want him to then follow it up with a really negative comment.
Yeah, P.S. You're an effing T. And you're rubbish at golf. This is just me adding them in. This is me giving Rick negative comments, pretending it's Tim. Don't like your beards.
Listen, it's negative comments are very challenging. It's been 12 years of making YouTube content, and there's been waves of negativity and then positivity. And at the moment, I feel like we're in a bit of a negativity wave at the moment. But also, I think social media as a whole is a bit of a negative place at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether it's the general elections taking place in the UK and the US. There's lots of tension and uncertainty of the future. That's causing a bit of tension for people. But I can go on Instagram and see a lovely, lovely, lovely post by whoever, and you go, oh, let's have a quick read of the comments. Like the first comment's a horrible, nasty comment. You're like, what is the point? So I do think as a whole, negativity has got really horrible, crazy on social media at the moment. Listen, I can't say it doesn't affect me. It does. It's hard to read sometimes. At the moment, I'm having a sabbatical away from social media, so I've not got any social media on my phone at all. That's really helping. Because the thing is with comments, like you can read 1,000 really, really nice comments. Like, Rick, you this, that, blah, blah, blah. You read one negative and it's like, all the positivity goes.
The example I sometimes use for people on that, and it sounds really silly, but imagine if you were walking down to a party with all your friends and family, and 9 people said, oh, David, you're looking very slim, you're looking really good, and then one person goes, have you put a bit of weight on recently? It's that one that you leave the party thinking about. It's just the human nature, annoyingly.
Yeah, and that could be, like I say, it could be anything, what you're wearing, how you look. It's a really, really weird space at the moment. There's lots of wonderful comments. I've read quite a lot of them from the open qualifying video. Lots of wonderful, wonderful comments, but then a scattering of negativity and I'm this, I'm that, I'm not very good, I should quit and blah blah blah. But that, listen, it's one of those things. At the moment, I'm having a bit of time off social media. It's really helping. And if you do leave a negative comment, why? I find that really challenging to. What makes you write a negative comment?
If somebody's leaving a negative comment, negative as well, it depends on you. If someone says, oh, I'm not a fan of this video as much recently, Rick, or I don't like the music in this video, that's like a constructive comment potentially. It's their opinion, it's fine. Like, you can do that, of course. But when people leave out just absolute nonsense comments, it does say more about them. Like, imagine you now with your 3 kids having a busy weekend, logging onto YouTube or Instagram and commenting on somebody's profile or whatever it might be, something really like nasty. It's quite sad. Well, it's not even quite sad. It's really sad. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a weird place at the moment, and social media gets it everywhere. The only thing I'm not the biggest fan of when people say, oh, well, you put yourself out there, you deserve this criticism. Not really. Did I put myself out here to
Yeah, I don't think you deserve. I think deserving criticism is different to it comes with the territory. I kind of feel like, I'm not saying you're saying this, but you'd be quite naive to think that you can, get so many followers and fans without a small percentage being idiots. Because that's human nature now. It'd be nice if that's not what humans were like, but we are, unfortunately. If a million people know who you are, there's going to be at least 10 who think you're an absolute tosser. That's just life, unfortunately. So
I'm quite happy just with 10.
Well, yeah, but it's the deserving is different, because deserving hate is when someone's like a criminal and done something terrible. You deserve to be hated and get negativity. But if it's because what you do, it's kind of like it is just part of it, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but that's life.
That's life.
We
move on.
And when you're hacking it around Royal Troon, like I may have done, but you're having a great time. If one person comments and says, "Guy's a ferret who ruins this video, I hate everything about him, I wish he'd just bugger off," I go, "Yeah, but I'm playing Troon." That comment may not happen. Maybe it will. How far in are we, Matthew?
25.
How many? 42. Okay, well, should I lash you another question?
Okay.
Right, this is a simple one from Joshua Meadows, or is it simple? Do you think Ludvig Aberg wins his first major before Rory gets his next?
I do. I really do.
There you go.
I think Oberg's been absolutely incredible. His mentality, his swing. I mean, he just looks the full deal. I mean, he could have won the Masters. He could have won the US Open. He's only played in 3 major tournaments so far, and he's knocking on the door a lot. So whether he wins it in the next few years, I'm not sure. But the same questions with Rory. When's potential? I mean, I actually can't wait for the Open, because I don't think we're going to see Rory, like I say.
He's doing Scottish. I think he's doing Scottish defending, which is obviously the week before.
So, like, we'll see him at the Scottish Open, but, he's got a lot of things to prove. Bryson's obviously playing so well. Yeah, I think there's a lot of very good golfers coming into form, ready for the Open.
You know what I sometimes think about golf, that is kind of weird as a sport, and it doesn't really happen this very often, but like if you think about someone that is, well, a football team, I know it's different, you've got 11 players in the field, but Man City will get beaten occasionally, but then over a season, as has been proven the last 4 seasons, I think it is, they've won the league. Is that 4 seasons, Ben? Yeah. But like with golf, Rory is amazing at golf. That goes out saying, and I would bet a lot of money he'll win another event again. But when you think of winning another major, he might well do, and I'm sure deep down he probably will. Wouldn't bet against it. But will he? That's the thing. It's like there's 4 a year. Now, he's not going to play well in every one, let's be honest, every year. He can't do. And as I said before, there's going to be some weeks where someone random has a hot week, and we've seen it with the Open before. With
Brian Harman.
Yeah, and when you look at, oh my days, Todd Hamilton and Ben Curtis, complete randomers. That might happen again this year. It might not do. But for him to actually win one of the 4 majors, and each year you'd think it's going to get harder, potentially. He's not getting any younger, still a young man, but he's not getting any younger. It makes me think that, like, it's nothing for granted, is there? Will he win another? I think that's why so many people ask the question, because it's like, we've said for the last 10 years, he'll win one, and 10 years have flown by. Yes, he's been close. Yes, he should have won the US Open recently, but he hasn't. And will another 10 years, if another 10 years fly by, he's suddenly mid-40s.
But it's like 40 tournaments. Isn't a lot of tournaments, really.
No.
It's not like, it's not, if it was a major every single week, yes, Rory will win one. Like I say, it's 4 weeks of the year.
And it's the field. If it was 40 games against Scotty Scheffler, might win half of them. But you've got Scotty Scheffler in every event. You've got Brooks Koepka. You've got the guys we don't even know of yet, who in the next 4 or 5 years will burst onto the scene. You've got your guys at Ludvig, who've come from kind of not nowhere, because they're massive in the amateur scene, but nowhere in terms of professional golf. You've got your Tony Finauds, your Tommy Fleetwoods, who've never won one, who are banging at the door at pretty much every event. You've got your Cameron Davises, Cameron Youngs,
Brooks Koepka,
all these guys.
John Rahm. It's mad.
When you think about it, you start to actually genuinely think, like, and I guess that's what he's thinking. He's had this for the last 10 years, that pressure. He's came so close, and it's not happened for him.
But then you add the pressure on him as well. Every single year, there's more pressure being put on him.
He's at a level of golf that almost can't be good, because somebody like a Tommy Fleetwood or a Tony Finau, I think are the best 2 examples I can think of, should really win a major in their career. And if they don't do, they will go down as some of the best guys never to have won a major. So that's a level of pressure. But equally, it's not at the point for them yet where every major is like, it has to be this time, it has to be this time. If it comes, kind of just whenever. But for Rory, every major that goes by, it's like, you're going to do it now? You're going to do it now? That must be difficult to deal with.
Yeah, it's really, really, really tough.
Somebody has asked about LIV being at JCB. What's your thoughts? Will you be attending? Certainly with it being almost your second home course. Are you excited to see what those guys do around there?
I'm excited to see what they shoot around there.
Me too.
Whether we're going to go, we were talking about potentially just going as a bit of a team and a bit of a jolly day. So not sure just yet on what day or if I'm going yet. I can't wait to see him play 17. Obviously, 17's an unbelievable hole. I want him to play it off the back of the backs.
I've actually got a question for you about that, though.
What is it?
Is there a risk that playing off the back of the backs, it could all become a bit of a meh hole? Because they're going to be hitting longish iron, heart of the green, and 2-putting. Whereas for amateurs, it's so much fun. Do you think they'll almost make it look not easy, but just quite bland? Do you get what I mean? Do you think if you've got 100, well, how many guys are there in LIV? 54? Yes. Might be somebody put it in the water, but like elite ball strikers, let's be honest. Does that hole lose its, off that back tee, does it lose its kind of awe, or does it not still, do you think?
I don't, it's certainly not guaranteed par.
No.
Not even for that. It's not, is it, for those guys? Do you remember when played with Tommy? He put it in the bunker long, then put it in the bunker on the other side, then made an unbelievable up and down for a 4.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I don't think it's easy at all. With the elevation change, the wind.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's one of those holes. I mean, I think JCB, certainly that 17th, really is teed up for a regulation tournament, as in not a shotgun. And what I mean by that, because it's the 17th.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, if that's your first hole.
Yeah, you're not through the challenge yet until you've played 17.
Yeah, I suppose for me, I wasn't saying it was an easy hole. It's probably one of those holes, though, where the disparity between amateur golfers and pro is so big, because for most amateurs off that back tee, they either can't reach the green or it's just so daunting. Whereas for a lot of those guys, they might have the odd blow up, but it's like much more, it's a 5-iron, heart of the green. Yeah.
What's fascinating, like when the Seniors Open's been there a couple of times, like this guy's going out there shooting like 8 or 9 under.
Yeah,
I can't. We joked at the start of this podcast about dreaming a 65. I can't dream a 9 under around JCB. I just don't see it happening.
I must admit that for me is what personally I'm looking forward to most, seeing LIV Golf at JCB. It's the course that I'm very lucky to have played a number of times, and it's one of the few courses I know every single hole off the top of my head. I could go through every hole now and tell you which is which. And I know how tough it can be. So when I do see one of those guys inevitably shoot a mid to low 60s, and you look at the scorecard, you go, how have they done that? Yeah. Whereas when you see it on the PGA Tour, for me, I know these courses are solid, but I've not played any of them, so it doesn't resonate. Maybe I should play. I can be the real life golfer.
There you go.
I'll play the absolute lights out and shoot an 86. I shot 86 today. And then Bryson's like, I shot 62. Could have to imagine Bryson though around there.
Some holes I think he's going to be too long on. He's not going to hit driver on the first.
Yeah. You know what, though? I'll tell you what, regardless of people's opinions on LIV, good, bad, or indifferent, if you are in the UK, it's right in the middle of the UK pretty much. I imagine that will be an amazing couple of days, because the golf course
I don't think the tickets are like ridiculous expensive.
No, I don't think they
either.
are. The golf course, as we've said many a time, is phenomenal. The event is a great place. It's a great hosting event.
I think it's a very, very, very good venue to watch golf.
I'm having a look now at how much the tickets are.
I'm sure it's like 20 odd quid, 25
It's about 30 quid for a ground pass, which for the level of golfers that you're going to see there, obviously, and the golf course itself, and it's easy to get to. It's right in the heart of the country. I think the Friday's the cheapest ticket, which you kind of imagine, about 30 quid if you've got the day off work.
I think if you were to park yourself on 16, back of 16, 17th tee shot, you would see some incredible golf. And you get to watch the iconic 17th hole. Even if, I said this when the Seniors Open, even if you just went to go and look at the golf course, because it is spectacular. It's a gorgeous, we're very, very fortunate to have it in the UK. And we don't get many courses like that in the UK. So even if you just pay 30 quid to go and have a walk around, it's exclusive to play. That's how its model is set up. But if you might never get a chance to play it, at least you can get to walk around it and pretend you shoot a 65.
I wonder what the crowds would be like at this event for LIV compared to others. Like, will it be a big turnout? You'd think it would be.
The other thing is, I don't know if it'll be a rowdy one.
I don't think it will be.
Because it's hard to get. It is easy to get to, but it's also...
It's not next door to a major city with you on the lash, is it?
Like, when we went to Centurion, I can imagine a lot of people getting boozed up because you are literally 20 minutes taxi from London, where this isn't. This is right in the middle of the centre, which is great for loads of people to get to. But I can imagine most people have to drive.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think we should definitely go for a day and see it. Do you fancy a quick Clubhouse special after this one? We'll release it on Friday, as always.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and we shall see you next time.